This is Out Loud and Laughing. Welcome back to the pod, Chosen fam. Boy, are we thrilled you're spending your time with us today because we've been vibrating with excitement for this one. Today, we're sitting down with a multi-hyphenate artist who is truly redefining what it means to be a modern pop visionary. He is the creative force behind Glass Battles, a project that feels like a neon-soaked dreamscape. He's a singer, songwriter, and producer who isn't afraid to let his vulnerabilities show through his amazing beats and infectious hooks. From the dance floor to the recording studio, he's been making waves, including some incredible collaborations with Mr. Jim Veraros. But please welcome the man of the hour, Glass
Hello.
Battles. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I don't know why I just gave you the neighborhood dad wave twice, and then doubled down with a hello as I'm washing my car. How's it going? Thank you for having me.
We love a good wave here.
It's so
Okay,
cold here.
we love it. Be your authentic self. Okay,
Of course.
Glass Battles, we've been
Yes.
diving into the specific cinematic energy of your sound. It feels like it belongs in the coolest indie film set in the 80s, but it's also very much of this moment, right? So when you're in the studio, what is the vibe you're trying to capture?
A lot of I'm like what you said. No, I mean, I love movies like vintage films from like the 70s and 80s. I've always been really drawn to kind of so much of cinema, especially even 1950s cinemas, like big orchestral strings and 80s synth. Anything that's just like it is. It's not dramatic. Like whoa is I guess it is kind of, but like it's very dramatic. I can't take the theater kid kind of out of me if I tried type of thing. But for me, it's just like I'm getting better at it now, I suppose, but like I'm very like all of my every song I produce has like tons and tons of tracks to it, like maybe like between 40 and 60. And a lot of people are like, mine has 9. But like, cause like I like layering. I like the way that all these different like genres come blend together, I guess is sort of like a blanket answer to start. But yeah.
Yeah, if we had to sort of dive into your Spotify playlist, rewind, what are you listening to? What inspires you?
I listen to a lot of the same artists, and I'm a very kind of like hyper focused, hyper loyal in that kind of way, just because I've grown with a lot of my favorite artists musically, and to be artists like Garbage, Goldfrapp, Rufus Wainwright, Robin, BB Brown, Lady Gaga, if we're going for pop girlies, that type of thing. I mean, for me, it's like I do have a lot of favorites that come and go, and I mean, the list could go on, but those are sort of like the ones that just kind of roll off the tongue pretty easily for me in terms of influences and interests and kind of where my mainstay, I guess.
It's a lot of good overlap with John and I's rewind, so that's good to hear.
Perfect. Yeah. What? Yeah. What's yours like?
Yeah, I mean, well, mine gets a little taboo because I go into like Britney Spears, like 2001. Like I get my gay turns on, but I do love me a little Robin, to be
Listen,
honest.
Britney's everything.
I mean, truth. Can you like actually do a rewind for us and our listeners and give us a little background of your journey, like how you got into the industry, like what are some of the things you've worked on? Because I want people to get an understanding of like some of the cool shit that you've done before we go a little deeper.
Sure. I'll try to make this as brief as possible. So basically, it was like 2008. I've always like I sang in like in choir and theater and that type of thing. Like used to play the saxophone. And then at one point, I just was like, I'm gonna start a band, and I posted an ad on Craigslist. It was funny because at the time it used to be a duo with my dear friend Tanya Dahl, who also has a podcast called Acid for Squares. It's like about aliens and the ethereal realm. Anyways, making
Cool.
this brief, yeah. So I posted an ad at Craigslist. So it was like, I'm looking to start a band. I didn't know anything, didn't know any production programs, never written a song in my entire life. And I don't know, I never really considered myself a particularly talented singer at that point in my life. And then she responded, or she had an ad too that looked exactly the same anyway. So we ended up kind of just starting this as like a mini project. And then we found band members on Craigslist. I hate that Craigslist is like the beginning of all of this. It's the beginning of all great things, you guys. But but then anyway, so I'm self-taught. I found production programs, Reason and Logic, and I just taught them to myself because I didn't have enough money to like go to school for that type of thing. And then from there, just the early songs just caught on. We started playing South by Southwest a lot, the festival in Austin, Texas, and then ended up playing that for a few years in a row. And then fast forward to, I would say, kind of the like the pedal to the metal time was probably right after I released my first album in 2019 finally, and now it's a solo project. I still work with a lot of the same bandmates in the studio and for touring and performances, but it's essentially my central thing now. But in 2020, because of the pandemic, kind of promotion for the album just sort of like died upon arrival, which is fine. But I ended up connecting with Shirley Manson from Garbage just through a post I did on Instagram. I feel like at that time in social media, there was like everybody, the playing field was like pretty leveled. I feel like it was obviously a lot easier to be like, hey. And I had also gotten in contact with Rufus Wainwright, who's another hero of mine. Both of those two are like the biggest heroes in music for me. And he hit me up and he just was like, I saw this video that you did because during the pandemic, to echo how I started doing music, I taught myself 3D animation and like green screen videography and photography and that type of thing because I refused to do a video of me like sitting on the couch being like, this is my lip sync video. I'm very sad, but like, so ended up creating this entire world. And then I caught the attention of like V Magazine and Billboard, and like they had posted about this video, and that's how Rufus found me. And I started doing visual work for him. I did video for him as well, and some other things. And then it just sort of is kind of like continues to the boulder keeps rolling. I've connected with so many incredible artists that we know of, like Darren Hayes, previously from Savage Garden, and then I'm working with Jim Veraros now, which is amazing. But I'm getting carried away. I went on tour with Garbage in 2022, which was crazy. They've been my favorite band since I was like in fourth grade. So like the fact that was such a crazy, crazy full circle type of thing. Anyways, I mean, I'm sure I'm leaving out a shit ton of things, but yeah, that's kind of like I guess, bullet points. But yeah,
It's impressive.
It's impressive, and it's a true testament to how far passion and grit can take us. You mentioned not having the money and figuring things out on your own. I think out of grassroots grow the best sort of trees, and so kudos for you. I would love to dig in a little bit about something you just mentioned. At the head, we talked about Jim Veraros. You just mentioned him as well. He's a dear friend of ours. You guys have this incredible creative shorthand. So, how did that partnership start, and how does working with another queer artist in the industry change the way you approach songwriting?
course. So we're kind of under the same, I would say, like management agency umbrella. It's known as Music in Demand, and my sort of acting manager, mentor, and agent all rolled into one. Logan Lynn connected us, and he just was like, he's like, I know this amazing artist, Jim Ferraros. Would you like to just chat and see how things go and that type of thing? And Jim and I are like, just hit it off so quickly. The shorthand I think just came from like it was Britney Spears that brought us together basically because it's kind of like whenever I'm working with an artist production wise or whatever I always kind of like I'm like what who are the tentpole artists and then what songs and like whatever. And so he and I actually just got into a conversation about one of my favorite albums of all time, pop wise, which is Blackout, obviously by Britney Spears, which is in my opinion still probably arguably the best pop album of all time, honestly.
Amen.
So he and I like you're like correct, no, but like so he and I like
Correct.
yeah he and I geeked out over that, and I think that just sort of set the tone already, and we're both sarcastic and joke around about everything. So just kind of like the vibe, just sort of like it just was one of those like synergistic like moments that like was nice, and like and then from there the big hurdle, not the big hurdle, but for me the big hurdle is always like hope they like what I'm doing. So like I sent him like some demos and he was like, going crazy over them and everything. So that kind of, just got things going and it's been hell ever since. I'm just kidding. No, he's amazing. No, he's a great person.
Well, first of all, John will hate this, but I love that Britney Spears has been mentioned at least 4 times in this conversation.
Yeah,
I knew you
listen,
would say that.
Britney Spears, now it's been mentioned 5, so
There we go. Yeah, you know what's interesting? And this is very controversial. Blackout's
uh-huh.
probably one of my least favorite albums of hers.
Well, when you
But
said
my
early
thing is,
2000s, that's what I was thinking already. I was like, he's not gonna like because
yeah,
there's like a Max Martin versus Danger Hands kind of split
yes,
for the super fans.
yeah.
So yeah,
I'm like
I'm
the
not surprised.
TJ, yeah, TJ backup dancer, like old school Britney.
Absolutely, yes, yes,
But
yeah, yeah,
no, love for her overall.
Present.
Yeah.
Present.
But I
right.
but I but I think but I think what's interesting is, first of all, music on demand is doing amazing things. We have Logan
Mhm.
coming on, and we're gonna be talking to him soon, which is
Awesome. He's
amazing.
amazing. Yes.
But but I think what's cool about like this community that's being built, right? And being able to uplift this whole LGBTQ plus, to do really cool shit, like make great music, right? And the only way to do that is if we all come together, bring in the best talent from writing, directing, songwriting, even
Right.
performing. And I love that. Do you seek that out to like, help other people in the industry? And you kind of like, how has that been like that dynamic for you?
I love to work with other people. I definitely, and I think I seek it out if we're like, if we have like a rapport for sure. For me, like I don't, I overthink everything anyways, and I also just don't want to like overstep or like somehow insult someone by being like, "Hey, would you like some help with music?" Sounds like you might. No, just
Right.
kidding. But like, which is like how I feel like they're gonna receive that, which is never the case. But like, I don't want someone to assume that that's where I'm coming from. But like, I think if as long if conversation's starting, like I get very into it, and I think Jim also is just an example of I think every artist has this. They just want to they want to feel comfortable enough to be able to like get excited about what they want to create. And the second you can kind of lock into that with another artist or a person creatively, then it
Mhm.
becomes so much fun and the communication is honest and it's clear and you kind of can maneuver like creative paths with other people. And really that's what collaboration is amazing is when you can do that. And I love that Music in Demand has I think Logan just has also kind of like a sixth sense for like picking people that are so passionate that they're like dying to work with other people. They're dying to kind of like just see what's possible to and what can happen, everybody at the same time type of vibe.
Yeah, I mean, spoken like a true artist. I also wonder, like, in an industry that often asks queer artists to fit into a very specific polished box, how do you protect your artistry and integrity when you're trying to grow your brand?
I think I've always been a little left of center musically. Like I think it's
Yeah.
definitely palatable enough in terms of like, yes, it sounds like a song that could be played somewhere and that kind of thing. And I can, I'm not patting myself on the back. I just it is what it is. But I think for me I've because of a lot of the artists I have come from a more alternative place, I think that's never really bothered me. And I remember, because Shirley Manson from Garbage at one point, there was a very small piece of advice. She has like these like little pearls of wisdom that like are just like they're very succinct, very direct and honest. And I was just lamenting about something a couple of years ago, just a woe is me type of moment. But and she was just like, basically kind of like, well, what people don't like, blah, 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 like what I'm doing or this and that. Cause I think every artist has moments like that. And if they don't, then screw you and your confidence. I'm just kidding. No, but she
Exactly.
essentially said like, if something's of value to you, chances are it's going to be of value to somebody else. And I think for me, it's kind of like, of course I want gigantic success. Of course I want, to be able to reach crazy wide audiences and take over the entire world in a good way. But at the same time, I think sacrificing sort of my authenticity to fit somebody else's agenda is just not something that I'm just not that type of person. I'm a very stubborn person when it comes to kind of like my artistry. I'm very, very flexible when it comes to everybody else's. If they can, I want to help them any way possible or collaborate any way possible. With mine, I have a very specific idea of what I want to do. And it's been a long time since I started, and I've learned so much. I'm like, I'm not gonna start now. I'm not gonna just start doing what you want me to do just to do that. But so that's just sort of been something ingrained in me forever.
If you had one piece of advice for somebody who sort of has this in them, this innate sense of artistry and
Mhm.
profound feeling to go out and produce music and create this, where would you tell them to start? Like how would you tell somebody to pick up and get going?
I mean, if social media wasn't so important, I would tell them to
Mhm.
stay away, like from the way, because I mean, it can be inspiring. It can also just be devastating. I think it's that sort of like the grass is always greener or just don't compare yourself to people. It's not important. And if you're comparing yourself to somebody else, like you better be doing it in a way where internally, like I'm not one for competing against other artists. I don't think that anybody's competing for the same thing. I think it's useless, but you should be competing in your head. I think you should be making challenges for yourself, being like, what can I do and expand on what I know I'm able to do. You know what I mean? Like, but so focus on yourself, keep your blinders on, stop looking at like, yes, this person got this accolade, this person got this award, this person is like in this like write up, that type of thing. Those things come and go. And if that's too hard for you, it legitimately isn't the correct career to be pursuing. And that sounds harsh too, kind of, but it's true. Like if you toil that much to a point where like you're no longer able to hold on to what you wanted to do in the first place, you either need to shift gears and start from scratch, start over, be yourself, or just work somewhere where like falling in line is like just makes sense to you, because it's not, you can't just kind of, you can't have both.
Yeah, I think that is actually so well said around, keeping the blinders and keeping focused. But easier said than done, right? How do you
For
do that?
for me, I just kind of like, I create my own environment, my own atmosphere. I just try to like, and I think something specific that could help is like really focus on visuals and pairing those with the music you're creating. And it just kind of like, it ends up just becoming your focus. The more focused you are on what you're creating in that moment, I guess staying in the moment, I guess, is a very simple way of putting it. And just using like, being in the moment creatively. And also reaching out to people and being honest. If you have friends that are artists and you're feeling insecure about what you're doing, or you're feeling less than or that type of thing, talk to them, because they probably are feeling the same way. And just getting that off of your chest can like really like have a healing effect on moving forward and that type of thing.
It's so important to lean on community, especially those who are really important to us, to not get validation, but to get
Right.
pulse checks. And so,
Hmm.
so kudos for you on that. I love that you also mentioned this idea of atmosphere and creating your own atmosphere. We saw the release of Paradise
Hmm.
recently,
Yeah.
and it feels like this manifesto, right? Like you're literally trying to find your own space or define your own space. And I have to say, personally, listening to that teaser you posted on your Insta was quite literally the transcendent equivalence of walking into a cathedral that was turned into a nightclub. It was so cool. It's
Thank you.
epic and it's incredibly resonant. So if you could look back at Glass Battles, though, 10 years ago, before these bold sounds started to emerge, before you started putting all of this, recording all of this onto tape, what would you think that he would think of the music that you're making today?
Think he would love it. I mean, I hope so. Younger Sean maybe would have given me a little more attitude, actually. No, but I think that like I think it would be something that I've always been very confident with what I want to do musically. And oddly enough, this sounds like this is just sort of a little bit of a leap ahead, but and this song might be on my upcoming album this year, but it sounds like the first song I've ever recorded, rather, it comes from the same sort of like sonic background. So in a lot of ways, and there's so many reasons why, but a lot of ways, Paradise feels kind of like back to form to like how I felt when I first started making music. And not to say that anything I've done in between then has felt sort of like, a different type of thing, but there was just something very fresh and very light and very kind of organic that just felt like how it felt when I was like first tinkering around with things. And I think that those distinctions, I think that, younger me, I think would be very proud right now. I hope.
That's beautiful. I wish we all can go back and kind of get a glimpse of our future. I think that would be really cool.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
but thinking about, our past, like what's a big dream for Glass Battles, right? Like, are we looking for like a massive world tour,
Yeah.
a film score,
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
what's the dream? What are we looking towards?
Everything, honestly.
Yeah,
I wanna be one of
good.
the most prolific artists that exists, you know what I mean? Like, and I wanna do that
Hell yeah.
because I've learned a lot of lessons. I can actually handle a career like that now. I think in my early 20s, probably not. I think I probably would have been, like, overwhelmed because I thought I knew everything. I, like, had the attitude of somebody. I was able to fool a lot of people. Like, for example, when we first went to South by Southwest, we didn't have a manager, so I was the acting manager, and so I, like, booked all of our shows as a manager, and then had several conversations with these venues when we got there where they were like looking at me. Our manager's name was Brett. And so like, I had like a different voice for him and everything. I was like very professional, tough but kind, kind of thing. And then like, when I end up meeting these people, they're like, so where's Brett? But looking at me kind of like, this sounds a little too close to that guy right there. Anyways, but I'm just losing track of what you just said. What the hell? Oh, yes, everything. I have the capacity. I have the passion. I want to go on a world tour. I would love to do soundtracks. I'm constantly working on stuff like that with just in my free time anyways. I would love to work in higher capacity with creating visuals for myself and other artists, just, and I want to be on every television show and every movie and on every stage. I want Gaga to give me a big hug and be like, "You're so amazing. I wish I could be as good as you, Glass Battles." And I'm like, "Oh, Gaga, one day." I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But but like for me, like I want to do everything. You know what I mean? Like I've
Uh,
always wanted that, and I just think that it's something that hasn't wavered yet. So we'll
the
see.
whole idea the whole idea around faking it until you make it, like catfishing your way to the top, all jokes
Seriously.
aside, is kind of brilliant, actually.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Glass Battles, we've gotten to the artistry parts, of course, but we know we can't let you go without a little chaos. So it's time to move from the recording booth to the green room. We're calling this one This or That, the synth pop edition. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
It's time for another round of This or That, the unhinged get to know you game. All right, let's hit it. Are you a scruff or no scruff kind of guy?
I was thinking about the app. I'm like, I mean, no, scruff or no scruff. I would say I both. Scruff, I guess. Yeah,
Does the answer change if it refers to the app?
absolutely. No. For me, it's like I feel like it's kind of like I think that there's a strong suit for every individual person. I feel like some people can pull off one thing, other people would look ridiculous. But like, I think that that's I'm an equal opportunity employer. I'm saying I'm a
Amen.
slut.
Amen.
I
Yeah.
I agree.
You agree?
That's interesting.
I agree. You're a slut, Sean. I'm just kidding.
We
Yeah.
agree. You are a slut.
But I think
God.
it's actually interesting though, because yeah, just because a goatee is something you're attracted to doesn't mean that's gonna look good on everyone. So,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. But yes, the app too. Okay. Are you a chess guy or a butt?
I think I'm a chess guy. I'm not like in super like jacked bodybuilding type of thing, but like I love when you can kind of see like a little tit like in the t-shirt, like when it's
Mm.
like a little bit of
Mhm.
tit.
You can cuddle up on it, something
Yeah.
A
you can
peck
lean
or a
into.
tit?
I mean, what a potato, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Potato. Sorry, crazy person.
when when you're glancing across the bar at men's tits. No, I'm just kidding. Are you at an NYC rooftop party, or would you prefer to be at an LA poolside party?
I would say LA poolside. I mean, like I like just sort of like I would like New York rooftop sounds fabulous, but I feel like I'm just much more even like a beach area would be cool. You know what I mean? Like when Roosterfish used to be in Venice, or maybe it's still there, but like that type of vibe where it's just
Mm.
kind of like it's nice enough. It's not like a complete dive bar, but it's also like outside you can hear the ocean. And you get people that talk like this and like, whatever, bro. But yeah.
The five.
Seriously, man. Are you serious? Yeah. That kind of shit
That's
just
so
really
good.
gets my goat.
I love it.
All right, this one gets so many random answers. Are you shower or bath?
Shower. I love
So quick to the punch.
well, yeah. I mean like shower, like long shower, extremely hot, scalding shower. But
Yes.
like I'm like crying, shower. No, bath. I love taking baths, but like I just kind of like I showering for me. I feel like I don't get clean enough in a bath.
Heard. Fair enough. Are you listening to vinyl records or digital streams?
I don't have a record player at the moment. I had one for years. So at the moment, I guess it's streams, but I love the sound quality and I think that the long form thing. I'm sorry, this is not this or that. I'm doing both and both. But yes, streams at the moment for that, for all intents.
There are no rules, really.
There are none. I have a
You take
vinyl
me
record
off.
player and I
The
love it
show
too.
never airs. I'm like,
Yeah.
God, sorry.
Okay. Are you pitching a song or catching a vibe?
I
Right.
am, listen, some songs are meant to be pitched, some vibes are meant to be catched. Sometimes you want to pitch and catch a vibe during the same music festival. Sometimes you want to listen to people pitching and you want to watch people catching vibes. Sometimes you get, I don't know, you get a good streaming song at 4 o'clock in the morning. You like to catch a vibe. Sometimes you're not ready to catch a vibe, so you pitch a song to somebody else.
I am
Glass
so
Seems like
happy it's a
battles.
long. I'm so happy it's a long weekend.
You
Right.
you ran with that metaphor, and I am like, that is the soundbite of the year. I love
So
that
good.
so much.
Right.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
I used to be a night owl, just kind of like focused more on like fitness and my health now in the past a little less than a year. So now I'm an early morning person for sure, just because I get like a lot of stuff done. I'm still actually adjusting because early morning I'll get like a ton of stuff done, and then like at 5 o'clock I'm like,
Dead.
so I have
Yeah.
no purpose. No, but yeah,
Yeah.
early morning, I love it.
So true. Okay, do you want an intimate club gig or a massive festival main stage?
Massive festival. Intimate club gigs are cute. As an independent artist, I have played 1 million of them, and they are lovely. I will
Yep.
continue to play them, but I would like to play for the grand masses. I will that into existence upon this podcast. Amen.
And you know who will
Amen.
open up for you? Lady Gaga.
Lady
Well,
Gaga.
thank God you
She will
didn't say
she
Jim
will be
Barraros.
featuring unknown supporting act Lady Gaga.
Yeah. Well, when that is over, when Lady Gaga has opened for you, and the show is over, would you want to be remembered for your sound or for your heart?
I would say my sound, because I'm not going to get booked for my heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Fair
I
enough.
could like, or both ideally. We could have like a Zara Larson situation where you're just like genuinely a kind person and everybody loves your sound and what you do. That'd be ideal. But like, yeah, they're not, festivals aren't gonna be ringing me up being like, we heard you feel so much and you're so nice. Here's $1 million. Wouldn't that be nice though?
You're so funny.
Oh, Glass Battles, thank you for being so real with us and giving us the
No
soundtrack
problem.
to our lives.
Yeah, where can
The
people find your
soundtrack to your
music?
thank you. Thank you. Thank you
You're
guys. It's been a
welcome.
blast.
It's been the soundtrack to mine. I am walking around this place with sunglasses that have been in the corner. I feel like an 80s kid right now. I'm loving all of it. But
Perfect. I've also got like a midriff on too for the 80s. So we got my Barbie. So
There we
yeah.
go.
I love it, representing our 80s child within.
Just
But
the 80s himbo.
I love it. Where can our family, our chosen family, find your music and you online?
I would say primarily just Instagram, Glass Battles, GLASSBATTLES, and then Glass Battles on, any streaming service. As of the past couple of days, I have decided to once again try again on TikTok. I get so burnt out because it is a lot of work. So if people think it's just you being like, I'm dancing, like, I'm like, okay. So yeah, so we're going to try again. So TikTok, Glass Battles, everywhere Glass Battles, basically. So
there we go.
Yeah.
To our chosen fam listening, keep supporting queer art. Keep staying authentic and keep laughing. Thanks, Glass Battles.
Thank you so much.
This was Out Loud and Laughing. We're available everywhere you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple, YouTube, iHeart, or wherever.